The Scottish rebellion had been suppressed nearly 8 years, and England had during that time enjoyed internal peace when Dr. Archibald Cameron fell a victim to his exertions in the cause of the Pretender. Dr. Cameron was the brother of the chief of the Highland clan of the same name, and it appears that having studied successively at Glasgow, Edinburgh, Paris and Leiden, he returned to Scotland admirably qualified to practice the profession of medicine to which he had been brought up. Universally esteemed and beloved by his neighbours for his generous conduct in the attendance of the sick poor, he was residing with his family when the rebellion of 1745 broke out. The chief of the Camerons was a zealous friend to Prince Charles, and although he firmly believed that any attempt at the restoration of the Stuart family to the throne of England must prove abortive, yet being pledged to assist his prince, he generously sacrificed his own feelings and appeared in arms at the head of nearly 1,200 men. Thus arrayed, he sent for his brother to undertake the medical charge of his troops. But although the doctor urged every argument which could be raised against so rash an undertaking as that which was proposed, he was at length compelled to forego all further resistance and to attend the army in his professional capacity, although he absolutely refused to accept any commission. Thus circumstanced, Dr. Cameron was remarkable throughout the whole advance and retreat of the rebel army for the humanity and assiduity with which he attended all, whether friend or foe, who required his aid. And when the Battle of Culloden put an end to all the hopes of the Pretender, he and his brother escaped to France in a vessel belonging to that kingdom. While in France, the doctor was appointed physician to a French regiment that his brother commanded, but the brother dying about 2 years afterwards, he joined a regiment in Flanders. In the meantime, proceedings had been taken against the rebel leaders, and by an act of attainder passed for the effectual punishment of persons concerned in the rebellion. The life of Dr. Cameron was declared to be forfeited. In the years 1750 and 1752, subscriptions were entered into in Scotland for the support of those persons who had escaped into foreign countries, and Dr. Cameron having already more than once visited his native country, finally in the latter year came over to Scotland for the purpose of procuring some permanent relief for himself and his suffering fellow countrymen abroad. Rumours were soon set afloat that he was in Scotland, and a detachment of Lord George Beaufort's regiment was sent in search of him. Being made acquainted with the vicinity of his hiding place, but being unable for a considerable time to discover its exact locality, the soldiers were unable to secure their prisoner. But at length, perceiving a little girl who appeared to be acting as a scout, they followed her until she met a boy who was evidently employed in a similar capacity, to whom they observed that she whispered something. They directly pursued the boy, but being unable to reach him, they presented their guns, threatening to shoot him if he did not immediately stop. Having then secured his person, they menaced him with instant death if he did not inform them of the hiding place of Dr. Cameron. The boy pointed to the house where he was concealed, and the unfortunate gentleman was directly placed under arrest, and was then immediately sent to Edinburgh, and from thence subsequently to London, where he was placed in confinement in the Tower. Being brought to the bar of the Court of King's Bench on the 17th of May, he acknowledged that he was the person who had been attainted, on which Lord Chief Justice Lee pronounced sentence in the following terms: "You, Archibald Cameron of Lochiel, in that part of Great Britain called Scotland, must be removed from hence to His Majesty's prison of the Tower of London, from whence you came, and on Thursday, the 7th of June next, your body to be drawn on a sledge to the place of execution, there to be hanged, but not till you are dead, your bowels to be taken out, your body quartered, your head cut off, and affixed at the King's disposal, and the Lord have mercy on your soul." On the morning of the 7th of June, 1753, the unhappy man was carried to Tyburn to be executed. He was attended at the scaffold by a clergyman of the Church of England, and before his being turned off, he declared that he was at peace with all men, and that he died firmly, hoping for the forgiveness of his sins through the merits of his blessed Redeemer. When his body had hung during 20 minutes, it was cut down, and the heart was taken out and burned, but the sentence was not further fulfilled. Dr. Cameron was the last person who suffered punishment on account of connection with the rebellion of Scotland, and of all those who were concerned in it, probably he least of all deserved the unhappy fate which overtook him. The very small and apparently unwilling part, which he took in the proceedings, should have screened him from punishment, more especially at a period when all appearance of discontent having vanished, no further harm was to be apprehended.